Today we are going to talk about KISS, YAGNI, and DRY. These acronyms stand for Keep It Simple Stupid, You Aren't Going to Need It, and Don't Repeat Yourself. I think the field of software engineering has a systematic problem of over-engineering. Our intentions are good. We want to avoid the cluttered mess of a system that is hard to maintain. But the usual method of attempting this is planning and designing. We try to design our way into the future, we try to predict future use cases, and then we create generic solutions based on our predictions. The problem is, our predictions are wrong most of the time. And so our generic solutions end up being not generic enough. At this point, we either refactor it to a new generic solution that will surely meet all of our future demands, or more likely, we add edge cases to our generic system in the interest of meeting deadlines. And now, instead of a garbled mess, we have a generic garbled mess, which is even more difficult to maintain. If, instead, we keep it simple stupid, look at the generic solutions and think we aren't going to need it, we can save a lot of headache. Our simple solution is unelegant and it won't support possible future use cases. But it works, it's easy to understand, and often it may even be performant. And when we do need to change it to support new use cases, it is easier to change because of all of those benefits. If you are a senior dev, even if you are a junior dev, this situation is probably familiar to you. So why does this happen? I think it is because developers like solving problems. The more complex the problem is, the more interesting it is. And so, sometimes we design solutions that are more complex than the problem that we are trying to solve. And this is where over-engineering happens. We are not thinking simple enough. Another cause for this might be to avoid future work. But as previously mentioned, you don't know what the future holds. It is more work to refactor the complex generic solution than the simple solution. There is nothing wrong with enjoying solving difficult problems, as long as your current problem is actually that complex. Sometimes developers are tasked with solving complex problems and the motivations to tackle them is very much needed at that point. But most tasks are not complex. They are simple and you don't need to make them any more complicated. Another contributor to excessive complexity is the DRY principle. Don't repeat yourself. Some developers take this to heart and they partition code in such small pieces that it becomes complicated to follow, just so they can do a couple two-line operations with one line of code. Your code does not need to be super dry, it just needs to be dry enough. I would personally follow a rule of 3. If you see yourself copying an operation of 3 lines or longer, 3 or more times in your codebase, it's time to write a function or class for it. Frankly, the most annoying contributor for complexity is marketing. Marketing of shiny frameworks and libraries, and especially the marketing of cloud services. All of these want to convince you that you need them, and if you are not vigilant enough, you get trapped into a solution that is not a great fit to your problem and costs way too much. Most likely, what you need from cloud services is VMs and maybe a managed Postgres database. You probably don't need Kubernetes if you are not running a complex collection of separate services. You probably don't need AWS Lambdas if you are not expecting massive scalability demands. And just like with code, infrastructure can be refactored more easily if you start simple. So, during your programming travels, please keep in mind that the only constant is change, and no matter how much you engineer your solution, you're going to have to refactor it at some point anyway. You or the person after you. And that's it for this video. Hope you liked it, and please don't forget to subscribe.